Your pulse is a vulnerability, a saboteur hiding within your own anatomy. They coached you to trust your gut. They preached that burning intensity is the fuel for triumph. They deceived you. Examine the wreckage of your past attempts. Every botched choice, every message you regret sending, every opening you abandoned because of panic or misplaced enthusiasm. What was the common link? Sentiment. You reacted, and because you reacted, you failed. This planet is inherited by the frigid. It belongs to the analytical. It belongs to those who can witness a catastrophe and experience nothing but a drive to calculate the subsequent move. Niccolo Machiavelli, the architect of political dominance, never prioritized passion. He championed virtù, or tactical mastery. He grasped a reality that polite society attempts to sedate you into forgetting. The individual who remains unbothered maintains the most authority. If you can disconnect your external circumstances from your internal state, you become untouchable. He who cares the least holds the highest ground. You cannot be wounded, you cannot be coerced, you cannot be anticipated. You enter a plane of being I term the hollow state. Most humans exist at a frantic frequency, oscillating between joy and despair, mania and misery. They are debris in a gale. I will show you how to be the stillness at the center. But this path isn't for the fragile. We aren't here for emotional regulation. We are here to sever the nerves that bleed. If you are prepared to trade empathy for empire, pay attention. You must recognize the adversary. You are battling your own neurological wiring. Natural selection did not optimize you for fulfillment. It certainly didn't prepare you to be a titan, a sovereign, or a victor. It optimized you for survival in a tiny clan on the ancient plains. Your reflexes, dread, embarrassment, the craving for approval, are obsolete operating systems. Terror was designed to prevent predation by beasts. Now that same terror prevents you from launching the enterprise. It stops you from exiting a poisonous partnership. The code is failing. It sounds alarms in a reinforced bunker. When you experience a surge of feeling, your executive center, the region tasked with logic and long-term positioning, goes offline. You essentially become dim-witted. You become a beast responding to a reflex. Machiavelli recognized this long before brain scans proved it. He observed that a leader who governed through sentiment was a leader destined for a grave. He noted that men are so simplistic and bound by current requirements that a clever deceiver will always find victims willing to be misled. Basically, he is stating that impulsive people are basic. They respond to immediate pressures, agony, hunger, lust, or panic. And because they respond, they are manageable. If I can trigger your rage, I possess you. If I can make you crave my praise, I possess you. If I can make you feel remorse, I possess you. The primary phase of winning everything is reclaiming the reins of your own gray matter. You must view your feelings not as gospel, but as static. Imagine you are a captain steering a vessel through a tempest. Your gauges are spinning. Sirens are wailing for you to bank hard. The novice pilot collapses. He obeys the sirens. He perishes. The professional ignores the ruckus. He fixates on the horizon. He relies on the math. He feels nothing. He lands the ship. You are the captain. Your feelings are the faulty gauges. Cease trusting them. This is where we exit the porch of self-help and enter the throne room of power. You must execute hope. I realize that sounds jarring. You have been conditioned to believe hope is sacred, a beautiful light. No, hope is a mendicant. Hope is the tactic of the defeated. The person who hopes is stalling, waiting for the universe to grant a favor. They are waiting for fortune. They are waiting for pity. They are waiting for the stars to align. Machiavelli loathed hope. He acknowledged fortuna, or luck, certainly. But he maintained that luck was a force to be subdued by vigor, not courted with pleas. When you hope, you surrender agency. You whisper, I hope this succeeds. The strategist says, I will structure this so failure is impossible. See the distinction? One is dormant, one is predatory. Recall your last crisis, perhaps a financial collapse or a severed bond. You spent hours hoping for a turnaround. You petitioned, you dreamed, and what occurred? Void. The dynamic only shifted when you turned cold, when you scanned the ledger, identified the bleeding, and made the surgical incision, when you viewed the partnership, saw the decay, and stepped out. Boldness dissolves fear. Hope stretches it out. You must exchange hope for cold arithmetic. Feel zero regarding the future. Do not daydream about the trophy. Do not obsess over the loss. Merely observe the tiles. Advance the pawn. If you lose a knight, do not mourn. Do not pray for a sign. Analyze the remaining pieces. Advance again. This is the hollow state. It is a vacuum of anticipation. When you anticipate nothing, you are equipped for everything. Machiavelli remarked that a cautious man should always walk the paths carved by giants and emulate the most exceptional, so that even if his own brilliance falls short, it retains a trace of theirs. Superior men do not rely on hope, they rely on execution. Begin this minute. Detect yourself saying, I hope. Halt. Transform it. I intend. I shall. I am implementing. Kill the beggar living in your mind. We are descending further. This section will make you flinch. Excellent. Ease is the graveyard of progression. If victory is the goal, you must purge pity from your soul. Pity is frequently cloaked as compassion, but they are distinct. Empathy is grasping another's pain. Pity is absorbing that pain until it paralyzes you. Often, pity is just a form of superiority. You look down on a soul and feel sorrow for them. But in the arena of influence, pity is a leak in your armor. Machiavelli was uncompromising here. He studied Cesare Borgia, a figure who established order in a chaotic land by being entirely unsentimental. He penalized criminals in the town square. He unnerved the masses, and the outcome was stability, safety, and growth. Machiavelli argued that cruelty utilized efficiently is actually a higher mercy. By being rigid, you stop the anarchy that damages everyone. How does this apply to your life? You have individuals in your circle currently sinking, and you are attempting to stay afloat while pulling them up. You are providing funds you cannot spare. You are entertaining their repetitive grievances for the 1,000th time. You are slowing your own climb to carry their weight. Why? Because you feel pity. You feel a sense of shame for thriving while they struggle. Desist. You cannot rescue every soul. And by trying to salvage the broken, you often pull yourself down into the mud. This feels predatory. It is. But observe the wilderness. Does the apex predator pause to pity the injured prey? No. The balance of the world requires the strong to be absolute. If you are a mentor, a provider, or a builder, you owe society your competence, not a shared collapse. When you feel pity surfacing, query yourself. Is this feeling helping them rectify the issue, or is it just satisfying my need to be a martyr? Usually, it is the latter. Machiavelli suggested it is significantly safer to be dreaded than adored. Why? Because adoration is tied by a thread of gratitude which men, being inherently self-interested, cut whenever it suits their agenda. But dread is fueled by an anticipation of consequences which never wavers. I am not suggesting you bully your kin. I am telling you to stop allowing your bleeding heart to pilot the ship. If a staff member is detrimental, remove them. Do not pity their debts. That is their burden. If you retain them, you poison the culture. That is your burden. If a lover is manipulative, depart. Do not pity their history. Feel zero for the justification. Look only at the output. This is the clarity of the medic. The medic severs the limb to preserve the life. He does not weep over the blood. He does not waver because the patient is suffering. He fixates on the infection. He extracts it. Be the medic of your own existence. There is a contradiction in wanting. The more you chase a thing, the faster it flees. You have witnessed this. The suitor who is desperate for the girl never wins her. The broker who needs the deal smells of panic, and the buyer retreats. Wanting creates friction. Friction creates errors. To win everything, you must behave as if you require nothing. This is tactical indifference. It is the capacity to view a high-stakes moment, a massive contract, a standoff, or a disaster, and internally shrug. It has weight, but it has no gravity over me. When you decouple from the result, you secure absolute mastery over the method. Think of the ancient warrior. The warrior embraces his end before the horn blows. He views himself as already deceased. If he is already deceased, he has no dread. If he has no dread, his strikes are flawless. He does not flinch. He moves with total intent. You must utilize the ghost strategy for your goals. Enter the boardroom ready to walk away, genuinely ready, not as a theatrical bluff, but because you are so anchored in your own worth that the absence of the deal changes nothing about you. Machiavelli discusses the fox and the lion. The lion employs muscle. The fox employs snares. The sentimental man is neither. He is the prey. He bolts. He freezes. The indifferent man can be the fox. He can play the hand because he isn't terrified of losing the pot. Have you ever clashed with someone who genuinely did not care? It is haunting. It is unnerving. You shout, you weep, you intimidate, and they simply observe you, poised, unblinking. Are you finished? They triumph. They triumph because your emotional gale hit their wall of void and shattered. This is the strength you are constructing. The next time a crisis emerges, attempt this. Visualize the absolute worst outcome. See it manifest. Imagine losing the career, the partner, the wealth. Consent to it. Reconcile with it. Tell yourself, I am already a shadow. Then open your eyes and address the task. You will notice your pulse slows. Your pitch drops. Your cognition becomes sharpened because you are no longer scrambling to exist. The player always dominates the victim. Let's confront the obvious. You are biological. You will feel pain. Machiavelli was not a cyborg. He was tortured on the rack. He was cast out. He understood agony. But he did not wallow. He categorized. He transformed his suffering into a manual. He wrote a text that has survived for 5 centuries. When you experience a heavy emotion, fury, envy, or treachery, do not bury it. Burial leads to an explosion. Instead, deconstruct it. Treat your feelings like raw data. I am experiencing rage right now. Curious. Why? Because he belittled me. Why does his opinion carry weight? Because I am unsure of my own standing. Ah, there is the pivot. See what happened? You shifted from feeling the rage to analyzing the rage. You transitioned from the reactive brain to the logical brain. The instant you categorize a feeling, it stops being a feeling and becomes a concept. And concepts can be managed. Feelings cannot. This is the alchemical shift of the dominant. The common man gets furious and breaks things. The Machiavellian gets furious and drafts a strategy. The common man gets gloomy and numbs himself. The Machiavellian gets gloomy and constructs a legacy to ensure he never feels that exposure again. Luck is the judge of half our deeds, Machiavelli argued, but she leaves us to navigate the other half. Your feelings are luck. They are the climate. You cannot halt the storm, but you can engineer the roof. You can divert the flow to turn your gears. Use your fury as propulsion. Use your dread as a sensor for hazards. Use your envy as a compass for what you desire. But never ever permit them to hold the wheel. You are the witness. You are the analyst. You are the master builder. Feel zero personally. Utilize everything tactically. Now, a caveat. If you move through the world looking like a stone monument, people will despise you. They will dread you, yes, but they will also conspire against you. Humans are pack creatures. They seek warmth. They seek rapport. So, you must develop the craft of the mask. Machiavelli is famous for noting that it is essential to be a masterful pretender and a hider of secrets. Internally, you are the hollow state. You are icy. You are calculating. You are detached. But externally, you must be magnetic. You must be engaging. You must acknowledge and laugh and look them in the eyes and make them feel seen. This is not falsehood. This is stealth. If you display your frost to the world, you become a mark. Society seeks to crush anyone who refuses to participate in the emotional theater. They label them monsters. They label them heartless. So provide what they crave. Provide the show. When your superior tells a stale joke, laugh. Not because it is humorous, but because it earns you leverage. When your rival attempts to bait you, beam. Not because you are pleased, but because it masks your intent. The gap between your private state and your public facade is the final metric of control. Can you seethe with fury inside, but articulate with a voice like silk? Can you be terrified but stand with the carriage of a monarch? If you can achieve this, you become indecipherable. And if you are indecipherable, you are invincible. Most humans are transparent. They carry their hearts in their hands, and that is why they are perpetually wounded. Don a mask. Lock your heart in a vault. Be a reflection for others. Show them what they desire to see. And behind the mirror, watch them. Study them. This is how you navigate the world without drag. You glide past the sentries because you appear as an ally. You pass through the gates because you possess the secret code. And once you are within, that is when you dominate. Let's discard another myth. Society preaches that self-interest is a vice. They tell you to be selfless, to be a martyr, to sacrifice. Who sells you this? The individuals who profit from your loss. The manager who wants unpaid labor tells you to be a team player. The stagnant partner tells you to be understanding. The relative who drains your resources tells you blood is everything. They are harvesting your life. Machiavelli grasped that a sovereign must be the focal point of his own world, not out of ego, but out of survival. If the sun goes dark, the planets freeze. If you collapse, everyone who leans on you falls. You must embrace tactical self-focus. This does not mean you are delusional. It means you understand that you are the primary asset you possess. Your vitality, your intellect, your minutes. These are non-renewable. Every time you get emotional over another's chaos, you are draining your own reservoir to pay for their negligence. Cease the funding. You must guard your energy like a citadel. The gate is locked. Only those who bring tribute enter. If someone insults you, do not feel slighted. Feel zero. Simply recognize this person is a drain and exit them. This is not malice. This is mental sanitation. You wouldn't allow someone to dump garbage in your sanctuary. Why do you let them dump their baggage into your thoughts? Machiavelli stated that a clever leader should rely on what he governs, not on what others govern. Your value is in your hands. Their view is not. When you stop requiring the world to clap for you, you become dangerous because you can no longer be purchased. Most men are cheap. They can be bought with a pat on the back. They can be bought with a flirtatious look. They can be bought with the hope of being liked. But the man who prizes himself above the group, he is costly. He is exceptional. He enters a room and does not check for approval. He checks for leverage. He is not seeking a companion. He is seeking a result. Be the sun. Burn intense. Let the others revolve around you or let them fade. But never ever dim your glow to make them feel comfortable. We must discuss the power of the void, not the silence of the monk. I am talking about the predatory hush of the hunter. Machiavelli coached that it is vital to keep your goals hidden. He who wants to mislead will always find those willing to be misled. The biggest error you commit is telegraphing your next move. You get thrilled. You feel that surge of pride. You tell your peer about your startup. You tell your spouse about your plan to quit. You just sabotaged the mission. Why? 2 causes. First, your brain confuses the talk with the walk. You get the chemical prize without the effort. Your fire dies. Second, and more lethal, you provided a blueprint to stop you. When people know your target, they know how to poison the path. They know how to trip you. They know how to use you. You must become a shadow. Be elusive. Be vague. When they ask, "What are you building?" you say, "Exploring some concepts." Smile. Pivot. When they ask, "Are you upset?" you say, "Just focused." Face of granite. Let them paint their own anxieties onto you. In the void of data, the human brain assumes the worst. It assumes authority. Leverage this. If you are in a deal, do not reveal your limit. Do not explain why you want the contract. Feel zero. State your price. Then stop speaking. The hush will become oppressive. It will weigh on their mind. They will start to fidget. They will start to negotiate against themselves just to end the quiet. You didn't do anything. You just refused to give them the warmth of your cards. Machiavelli tells us to be the fox. The fox stalks without snapping a branch. Stop announcing your transition. Stop broadcasting your hustle. Labor in the dark. Let the output be the only sound you create. The clap of thunder follows the bolt of light. Be the bolt. Are you prepared to bury your excuses, or will you return to the dream? The decision is yours. But keep in mind, the world does not pause for the dreamer. It consumes him. If this struck a nerve, understand this is only the public transmission. There are maps I cannot share with the crowd. There are layers of psychological warfare that I simply cannot broadcast here without risk. The system mutes the most potent truths. Those are reserved for the inner circle behind the join button. If you are still watching, you are not a sheep. Like the video and mention wines of thought below. But if you want the keys to the vault, click the join button and ascend to the architect tier. You will unlock the restricted, raw transmissions that explore the deep abyss of human nature. Most won't take that step. That is exactly why you should.